lady, then I might be the channel for you. Rosemi PT. VTubers! 아, 진짜 극대다! 후시로! 후시도 사랑해!
교재를 교재를 교재를
Dr. Nova! How are you enjoying Offkai, huh?
Well, yes, Alias, it's quite loud.
Isn't it great? VTubing fans from all over are coming to share their passions.
Oh, it's special, all right.
For me, I wouldn't have it any other way.
I love hearing people scream.
Exactly! We hope you all come to our booth. They have giveaways and surprises all weekend.
Check the schedule to figure out exactly what we're up to and maybe come get a ribbon.
Tatya! We'll be waiting, okay?
Oh, God.
Do you like fish and chips? Well, I'm Alpha, a potato-loving fish. I'll sing endless tunes for you at Alpha Beta VT. VTubers! Give me one, give me three, I love Konnichiwa! VTubers!
Do you love horses and America? Come and horse around with Tomoe Amari, the tomboy military horse girl. VTubers!
Valhalla will always be there.
Books are such a human thing.
Time to go hunt!
You think you seem scary. I really have gone insane, haven't I?
You will all bow before me.
Valhalla will always be there.
Books are such a human thing.
Time to go hunt. Ow!
You think you seem scary. I really have gone insane, haven't I?
You will all bow before me. Need help falling asleep? I got you with ASMR. Check out my channel. Aribiridis on YouTube. VTubers. It's Cure Speaker. Speaker stands for singing. Piano. Idol. Yippee. Claude. Anime girl. VTubers. Do you like retro games? What about girls with the IQ of 80? Then I might be the channel for you. Oh, let me PT. VTubers.
Dr. Nova! How are you enjoying Offkai, huh?
Well, yes, Alias, it's quite loud.
Isn't it great? VTubing fans from all over are coming to share their passions.
Oh, it's special, all right.
For me, I wouldn't have it any other way.
I love hearing people scream.
Exactly! We hope you all come to our booth. They have giveaways and surprises all weekend.
Check the schedule to figure out exactly what we're up to and maybe come get a ribbon.
Takya! We'll be waiting, okay?
Oh, God.
You guys ever just think about how lucky you are to know me?
I'm vertically challenged.
The girls are kissing. I want to kiss girls.
Hey chat, bite slip. I've got good teeth. Cheese.
Sometimes you say things to me and I realize how much brain rot you've consumed.
like fish and chips? Well, I'm Alpha, a potato-loving fish. I'll sing endless tunes for you at Alpha Beta VT. Vegan it. Give me one, give me three, 11, 25.
Do you love horses and America? Come and horse around.
Welcome to Offkai Expo, and thank you for coming today! For your safety, please be aware of any and all posted rules and warnings for this event. Please adhere to any instructions from Offkai staff and security as well. We'll be beginning shortly. Please take this time to silence and put away your mobile devices. In case of an emergency, you'll want to know where the nearest exit is. Please take a moment to take a look for them now. Photography and videography are allowed during this event. If you decide to take any photos or video, please make sure you're not blocking or obstructing the view of others. Please refrain from blocking or standing in any aisles or walkways. Be mindful not to obstruct the view of your fellow attendees behind you with any large props, standees, flags, or banners. If you need a place to sit down with larger items, please move to the sides or to the back of the room. Keep all personal belongings with you or in a safe and unobstructive location, like beneath your seat. Kept you waiting, huh? Let's all sit back and enjoy the show.
Funny not being like 100% sure when they're gonna be able to see it. Oh, we're live.
There
Okay,
we go.
hi. That'll be when they can see us. What's up, everybody? Hello.
Yeah, you can hear them. See, you were worried about it.
Yeah, I was worried I wouldn't be able to hear anybody. Hello, welcome everybody. It's a pleasure to see you all. Thank you for being here. How's your Offkai been so far? Are you having a good time?
Yeah! Oh my God, thanks for having me live. I'm having such a good Offkai.
Oh my goodness. Well, so welcome to the panel, everybody. I'm Limes, and this is my content wife, Matara.
Hi, everybody. Matara here. Also, if you look behind you very quickly, there's a Matara in the audience as well. She's watching all of you, so you better behave.
It's like Matara watching Matara.
Yeah, she is.
Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, so welcome everybody. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, which is kind of funny because the panel's all about how long I've been in content creation. I've been in here a long time, but I've never done anything like this, so I'm a little bit nervous. So content wife Matara today is my emotional support Matara.
Emotional support wife.
Emotional support wife. Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to talk about like how different things used to be when I started streaming, because like people kind of ask, like, you know, I often get people dropping into my channel and being like, you know, how would you advise getting started with streaming these days? And honestly, I feel like a huge fraud trying to give that advice, because if I was doing it now, I don't know how I would start, because it was so different to
True.
To put it lightly. Like, to set the scene, when I began streaming, it was on a website called livestream.com. And this website did not do discoverability. It wasn't really meant for anybody to actually kind of formally stream. It was kind of just like a place where people would be like, yo, my friend group of 3 people, I'm gonna, you know, show my cat on webcam, or I'm playing this thing, this video game, come and have a look at what I'm doing. So I specifically remember that I was looking for somewhere to kind of hang out and watch stuff while I was at university, way back in ye old 2011. 2011.
Can we just very quickly, anybody else was in university back in 2011? Can we get a hand up? If you are also, okay, we got some old folks in here. Let's go.
I went to university a little bit late. Oh man, no.
Yep.
No, yeah.
Anybody
okay,
over
yeah.
the age of 35, raise your hand. Yeah! I love it.
Welcome, my people, my people. But yeah, I was looking for somewhere to, you know, see, when you put like a YouTube video in the background when you're studying, I wanted to do that. Found this website where someone was streaming my favorite game one of my favorite games called Tumba, or Tumbi, as it was known in
I've
Europe.
never heard of this.
Tumbi. It's like he's like a pink-haired kid, and you bite things to inherit their powers. Yeah, it's a 2D side scroller. It was so good. But yeah, this streamer finished. It was like to 20 people. This streamer finished and was like, "Does anyone want to play Left 4 Dead? Add me on Steam." So I added this guy on Steam. His internet connection went down, and then I forgot about it. Like I left for I never went back like 3 weeks, and then I get this message on Steam like, "Who the fuck are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I watched you playing a video game," and he was like, "Oh, you should come back again sometime." And this channel was called Vine Sauce at the time. Vine Sauce Vidya.
Let's go. Can I interject super quickly? That's one thing that I kind of miss about being, not a creator is the fact that you would just add random people after a league game. You'd add random people after whatever game. And then you'd be like, hey, come in the Discord. Back then it was Skype or TeamSpeak. You're like, come play with us. And then they'd play with your friends.
Ventrilo, fam.
Oh my God. They'd play with your friends for 1 or 2 weeks. It would be fine. And then one of your friends would be like, hey, that guy sent me his, genitalia. You're like, oh man, we played 2 weeks of League of Legends together. I had faith in you. How could you do this, man?
The Wild West of the internet.
Yeah.
No, it was very much like that. But yeah, no, Vine Sauce Vidya,
Also, wait,
as it was
before
known
you
at the
continue,
time.
I just want to let everybody know we're going to be yapping for about 30 minutes. But at the end, the last 30 minutes, it's going to be all the questions. The reason we're yapping now is so maybe you don't waste your question asking like, how did you meet Vine Sauce, right? Things like that. So give us like a little bit of hag yapping time, and then we're all here, we're all ears, all right? You're gonna get 30 minutes of questions.
I'm looking forward to those questions.
Me too.
But yeah, how I met the Vine Sauce.
So he was streaming Tumba?
No, it was another streamer streaming Tumba because this was a communal channel. So way back in the days of old, it would be like, 12 people would all have access to one channel and they would just stream random stuff. So Vine Sauce Vidya, as it was known at the time, had I think it was about 8 to 12 of us at any one time, and we would share space on this channel.
How did you guys decide who streams when? Or were you like, I want to stream this time? Talk to me.
in order to dictate, you would call games. So say The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was coming out. You would have to call that you wanted to play Breath of the Wild. And maybe you can already see why this arrangement wasn't ideal, because everybody wanted to play Breath of the Wild. So someone calls Breath of the Wild, and at the time, certain people got prioritization on certain stuff. Vinny's gonna stream Breath of the Wild because it's Zelda and he's Vinny. So it just meant that multiple people could do the same thing, but it was kind of frowned upon. And this was before my time on Vine Sauce, but at one point there was when Minecraft came out, literally everybody was playing Minecraft for 24 hours a day, jostling to get on the channel, and that eventually led to an offshoot channel, I think, that was called Vinecraft. But as far as I can tell, we don't talk about Vinecraft because something bad went down. I wasn't there. I wasn't there. I don't know.
People are gonna come out of this panel I learned so much hot tea and gossip. Alert the journals.
I can't give you the specifics of the tea. I just know that we don't talk about Vinecraft. No. So but yeah, so that's the way it was done. There were 12 of us. We would be and I had to guest apply to stream on Vine Sauce because I had applications where community members would be like, I want to stream on Vine Sauce, and I submitted an application and I streamed
Momos don't even think about it.
I streamed Mother 3 on Vine Sauce as a guest streamer, and then at the end of it, Mr. John Vine Sauce himself said, "Child, would you like to stream permanently on Vine Sauce Vidya?" And I said yes. And
let's go! It was the Mother 3 gameplay, the accent. Did you have more of an accent back then too?
I did. I sounded very. I was not corrupted at this point. And there's footage of me actually from way back when in olden times where, one, I sound more British, and two, I actually have I sound much deeper. But the funny thing is, people will be like, oh, when you became a VTuber, did you start faking your voice? It's like, no, it was the other way around, because back then you kind of as a girl, I felt like I had to kind of, be the cool girl, to fit in,
especially in
on top of that,
Vine Sauce group, yeah.
It's online video games, yeah.
They're
So I felt
cool.
like I had to be, yeah. And also I was depressed because it was university. I'm just sad and tired.
Sorry for laughing.
There's.
depressed at
Oh, you were
university.
depressed. That's hilarious.
So funny.
No.
Relatable queen.
Yeah, I had this cool girl persona going on where it was like I didn't want to be too bubbly, too happy, too sprightly. So it was like, yeah, I'm gonna be playing video games today. I'm gonna have a lot of fun. Oh my god!
Not
what
like
the
I
fuck was
care or
that?
anything.
Kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, it was very much that kind of vibe. So yeah, I streamed on Vinesauce for like 2 years. At one point, I remember the livestream.com CEO, I think at some point said, I don't think there's a future in live streaming, which was quite funny looking back on it. But in fairness, way back then, it was like super frowned upon to make any money streaming. Like
Just to
nobody made money
put
streaming.
This in my head. Around how many years ago are you saying this now? This is like 10 years ago, 8, 7. What are we looking at
So
timeline-wise?
in that specific streaming community, that would have been 2012-ish. So
13 years ago.
13 years
13 years ago.
Yeah, 13 years ago. 13 years ago. Yeah, you didn't make money streaming. It was seen as very much like a sellout. There was no regulation. I remember we would do a charity stream and it was no more formal or well organized than a bunch of people basically would donate to one PayPal account and then, hope to God that that person would actually forward the money to the charity because you weren't working directly with the charity, which looking back on it is horrifying, actually.
This was also around the time, if anybody's been around Twitch television for long enough, where people would do like PS4, back then it was like PS3 giveaways for, if you like Twitch subscribed or gave them $5, you would enter a raffle to win a PlayStation 3, which is illegal and you shouldn't be doing that because it's gambling, allegedly. But yeah, that kind of stuff was happening on Twitch.
Yeah, we didn't even have that. I remember there was so much drama when people would make money on the stream, and not only was live stream specific, there was like it was terrible for any kind of moderation tools. It actually people used a third-party client called Chitango and embedded it next to livestream.com streams, and that meant that the chat was like 24/7, always active. Which sounds nice, and it was nice from a community point of view because people would be able to play games with each other. Unfortunately, when everybody is able to talk to each other constantly with no moderation or oversight whatsoever, it can tend to breed some level of toxicity, to put it lightly. And I remember around the time when I had an argument with someone in this community, and they told me very directly, "You just stream here. That doesn't mean that you're more important than me." And I was like, "Oh,
I kind of love that. I'm gonna say that in your stream, streamer.
You're just the streamer. What the fuck are you gonna do?" Says guy who just got banned. No,
I love that when people come in and they don't say hi to you and they say hi to everybody else. I'm like, hey, they're like, quiet streamer, do your thing.
Quiet streamer,
I'm
the
saying
chat's
hi to my
talking.
friends. Yeah, I'm stealing that.
No, it was weird. There was like a sense of like ownership where, because they were there more often than the streamers, it was like, well, it's actually the chat stream kind of thing, which I get it, but
Don't
it
give
was
them
not very
ideas.
conducive to
Don't give
feeling
them
good about
ideas.
yourself.
Oh my god.
Okay, yeah. So eventually we decided livestream.com was not very good for long-term streaming. We moved over to Twitch, and then in 2014 I got my own solo channel, which was very exciting.
What made you decide to do the branch off? Was it just that you couldn't stream enough hours, or were you like, I can also do my solo thing?
99% of it was the game calling thing, and like feeling that people got annoyed. Like people would actually get upset at you for streaming the same game as someone else. Like, they would be like, wow, this is the 4th streamer today that's been playing the hot new game.
Yeah.
Maybe you should play something else. Or occasionally people would be like, excuse me, I know that X streamer just got online and wants to stream. They told me that they'd like to call the channel. Can you stop?
Oh.
It was just...
That was a thing back
like,
then, it's true. Even just like outside of the Vinesauce stuff, but in general on Twitch, where people kind of felt like they had time slots. So if, for example, let's say I usually stream at 6 p.m. I want to start streaming at 3 p.m. this week because it's my life. It's now or never. I ain't going to live forever. But then other people get pissed off and be like, wait, you always start at 6. Now that you start at 3, you're encroaching. First of all, it's time. I'm not encroaching on anyone's time. But that was genuinely a thing, and that was scary. People were so big about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and when you share a channel, it's exacerbated because obviously that other streamer cannot go live while you're monopolizing the channel, which, it's not meant to, but it ends up generating resentment because it's like, oh, well, people are being nasty to me because you wanted to go live. It was just a thing. So I decided to branch off, do my own stuff, and the reaction to that was mixed. I
God, we're getting the
some
real
of my
lime lore here. Oh my God.
The juicy lore. No,
Can I get everybody to go
like,
ooh. Ooh, mixed reactions. Okay.
Yeah. No, genuinely, I remember going back to that 24/7 chat thing. I just remember like people would be in there because this was now a separate chat to the one that I
They was
used because I
talking
was using
shit,
Twitch chat.
weren't they?
Yeah, they would talk shit. They were mean. And then it was like I would get followed. Like I had to turn off follower alerts because I would get followed by accounts that just called me. It was like fucking sellout would be the account name. And things like you're a bitch.
It's funny
and it was
today.
Like, oh.
Today, it's funny to laugh about an account that's like, you're a bitch, one. You're a stupid bitch, two. You're a hoe, one.
Yeah.
But back then, in the moment, I can imagine it feels defeating and draining, and you feel
It's
bad,
not
and you feel
great.
like you're gonna get
No.
harassed forever. But now it's kind of funny to be like, man, you're
It
a hoe,
is.
one. Stupid bitch, two. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. Appreciate
Yeah,
you. Yeah, no, it was rough, but yeah, it did mean that like I love my time of Vine Sauce, but it did mean that I got that jumping off point because people will say, how did you get past that hump where you sort of like streamed to 0 to 1 to 3 viewers or something? It's like I was very lucky. I didn't have it. Vine Sauce when I started streaming had about 50 to 200 people at any time.
Awesome. Back then, that's huge. That's really, really
That's huge. Yeah, no, charity streams were great, but the funny thing is on live stream, you would have to verify your channel in order to have more than 50 people watching at a time. Otherwise, it would say, sorry, the capacity for this channel has been reached.
Well,
And you
that's so
couldn't
cool
watch.
and exclusive.
Yeah, because it wasn't really meant for like, broad scale
Yeah.
streaming. Like, the only way that you could actually get word out would be to like post on forums and stuff like that. So you would be like, my friends and I stream this video game, and you post on a random forum and be like, maybe come and watch us, and someone would just reply with fuck off. Because
You're on Reddit, you're like, can you please come watch me? And they're like, die.
yeah, Reddit, that's what it was, and not just like, an old school forum. Yeah, no, it was a time, and we were using like the software called Procaster, which we nicknamed Pro Crasher because it would just crash all the time, and your maximum bitrate was like 250 kbps, which
Oh my God, we're so spoiled
everything looked awful. Anything that was like more than kind of like Minecraft, well, actually not even Minecraft, Minesweeper, anything more than Minesweeper just looked terrible. But yeah, no, it was really a wild west. Like,
Talk to me about your solo channel. So you started your solo channel, and then from there you got a little bit of hate, but then you also got a little bit of a like landing pad of fans. How did you build that up? And did you want to be full time? Because like you said, at that time, sorry, I'll give you the stage in just a second. At that time, for everybody to understand, there wasn't really that much money in streaming. Even people with 1,000 viewers or 2,000 viewers maybe had like 500 subscribers, 200 subscribers. There was sponsorships, but they were mainly for like the big guys. And a lot of times, if you played more in the variety genre, people did not expect you to take sponsorships. It was like, how could you be making money off this? How dare you? It was
you
strange.
didn't get sponsorships for games. It would be like like basically like being an ambassador, like a brand sponsorship for like a hardware thing or something like that. Yeah, no, it was. So when I started my own channel, I didn't know what I was going to do. I remember when I graduated from university for a couple of years, I did stream, and I did not make enough money. And my mother said, "I love you very much, small lime ferret." Actually, at the time, I was a seal. My persona was a seal. Yeah, I love you very much, small seal child of mine, but you are earning no money. You are doing nothing with your degree. I need you to find a job. So, yeah, that was around the time.
Parent reaction, honestly.
So, yeah, honestly, it's like, child, I'm worried about you. All you do is talk to your imaginary friends on the internet for hours at a time. What are you doing? So, yeah, I got a job, and like a full-time job, actually, at Twitch, which was fun.
Twitch, you're up! Yippee!
Yeah! Yeah, I worked on like their help pages and stuff, which is like why if you go to like the subscriber emote page for Twitch, you'll actually see my emotes because I wrote that and I took the pictures.
text.
Most of the text has changed now, but they still have some of the pictures, which is cool.
Very quickly, I want to see if anybody flew in from Europe for this con. Currently in the audience, do we have anybody who flew in from Europe, or are y'all local? Hands up, hands up.
I see a hand.
Where?
I see a hand.
Oh, I see one hand in front of the
You're
mint.
here.
I see you. Okay, one European. Cool. Keep going.
Fantastic. I actually, when we were doing a walk around the other day, I found a Liverpudlian, which was great. I was
Like Liverpool?
Yeah, we call them Liverpudlians. If you're from Liverpool, you're a Liverpudlian or Scouse. And yeah, no, I just got like an accent jump scare because it was in the middle of like MomoCon or something. It was like, what the hell? But yeah, no, so I think about 2 months after I got a job, that was when they started doing Twitch Prime subs.
Yeah.
And then like a couple of months
when
after that
Amazon
was when
bought.
gift subs. Yeah. So it was Twitch Prime subs and gift subs. And suddenly it became so much easier for the average person to actually make a decent amount of subscriptions on Twitch. Because I think even with like connections to Vinesauce and having like average maybe 250 to, because we were still technically Vinesauce at this point, even though we said, oh, we're a team, we're a Twitch team, and we're gonna like, you know, we'll still stream, we're just on different channels. So I was still associated with Vinesauce at that point. But yeah, even with that, I had maybe 200 subs at any one time, which was not enough to impress my mother. But yeah, shortly after that,
Hey, look, Mom,
gift
I
subs
got
and Prime
200
subs became a thing. Yeah. She's like, okay, daughter, thanks very much. Like, let me know when you make minimum wage. Yeah, no, it was rough out there. And there was still like that stigma, like people who started off where like on like livestream.com or in that kind of environment, the idea of earning money from stuff was still very difficult. Like, you know, I didn't start taking any kind of sponsorships until like the year before last, having been in content creation at that point for like 10, 11 years or something like that. I didn't take a single sponsorship because it felt weird because, you know, I still had in the very back of my brain that sellout tag, that label. And it's bizarre to think about it now because in the end, like, you know, I'd much rather pick the pocket of the corpo than the people that are like sitting at home watching me, so.
I think once people understood that a lot of these companies have a budget for this kind of stuff, it's like, oh yeah, go get your bag. Like this company has a budget, all that stuff. I get it.
Yeah,
so how do we
exactly.
get from Lime working Twitch job into Lime streaming full time? How did that happen?
So, COVID.
Of course.
Yeah, COVID hit, and I think I was living in London at the time, so I could get to the Twitch office. And once lockdown hit, it was like, why am I paying to live in London? Like, it was like, you know, 500 and something square feet, like 2,000 something a month kind of rental prices to live in London. It was sad. So yeah, moved out of London, came back to my hometown, and I started, because I didn't have those commuting hours anymore, I could add more hours to stream. And then I was like, what if I could do like, you know, yeah, and then I was like, what if instead of being like a camera-only streamer, I could actually have some kind of like visual representation of myself. And so I started looking into like VTubers and VTubing, which was, you know, surfacing at that point. But it's always funny because for me, VTubing started as like, you know, a way to kind of display my reactions. It wasn't necessarily like, I know a lot of people like the anime culture and stuff like that. People will be like, so who were your VTubing inspirations? Which VTubers do you like? And at the time I was like,
okay.
I was not in the VTubing culture.
My piece here, I love that you avoided all the bad parts of it, because at that point when I was getting into it, so to be clear, like I went to Japan so many times before VTubing. I've watched anime more seriously before, less now. And because, you know, like you get older, you've seen a lot of the tropes. And I got crucified, but I think it's because I was in corpo environment. And in corpo environment, it's like, if you are not an anime fan, especially back in early COVID, if you were not on your shit about the newest anime, about the newest everything, if you hadn't watched that like one random Corone stream that was then like subtitled into English, you were a fake fan. And I'm so happy that nobody else will have to go through that. And I'm so happy you didn't go through it, but man, you got away
Yeah,
good.
no.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah, honestly, VTubing, yeah, it was absolutely just like a a way to not have to do a face cam because I didn't want to, because I enjoy being a slob and wearing my pajamas and not bothering to do my hair before I start stream. So I didn't want to have to do a webcam. So I was like, okay, well, I can do this VTubing thing. And my amazing debut stream was I literally got the Sonic Generations like logo, and you know how Sonic in like classically pops out from the logo, so it's like doo 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 doo, and then Sonic pops up and he gives you a thumbs up. I literally, my entire debut was literally the Sonic Generations logo, that music plays, and then I popped out of the logo.
Allegedly, for
like,
copyright
"Limes!"
purposes, this is a joke.
This is
Sonic
a joke.
is
I would never
listening.
infringe. I would
She's
never.
kidding. Oh my god! Did you actually
Listen,
have a proper?
I'm old school. I'm old school. We didn't know what brand friendly was.
No, exactly. Did you have like a proper VTuber debut, or did you just kind of go live and you're like, "What up, it's me"?
Literally, that was it. I popped out of the logo. That was my debut, and then I played Sonic Adventure with crowd control on, and people threw things at me, and that was my debut. It was very
that.
like when I hear about all like the proper corpo ones, and it sounds amazing. Where like I do something more similar to it now. Like my 2.0 was closer to it, where it's so structured and so cool, and they do all the credits and stuff. Nope, popped out the Sonic logo. Please work with me, Sega. I didn't mean it.
If any Sega representatives are in here, she didn't mean it. She's
You didn't
kidding.
hear shit.
It's a joke. How did we get you here then? So how did you go from like actually trying to make it full time? That's the question, right? You're working at Twitch, you're making a steady income,
Yeah.
you're doing all this stuff. What made you decide, all right, I'll do this full time?
Because between my job and streaming, I was doing about 16 hours a day. And something had to give, and I had faith that I could raise the ceiling of what I was making as a streamer enough that I could let go of the Twitch job, because I liked working at Twitch, but I loved streaming. And I was like, I can do this. I can, take it to a point where losing the Twitch job doesn't matter. So that's what I decided to do. And then, I threw everything into it. I got my 2.0. I did a debut properly. I learned about actual VTubing culture. I got to know VTubing fans, the people that are here today.
Yeah.
And
Wait,
I realized how
VTubing
amazing
fans,
they all are.
wait. VTubing fans, like the people that are
VTubing
here
fans,
today.
the ones that are here today. Thank you, Matara. Thank you, Matara. I've not done these live events before. You'll have to give me a second.
You gotta have them cheer. You gotta have them, be a part of this.
It's true. But yeah, no, I got to know actually the community, the culture, and I did my first meet and greet, I think 2 years ago, just one meet and greet. This is the first year I've ever gone really hard on cons, and my first ever panel. And actually, I love it. And I can't imagine ever going back. And when I think about, those early days, maybe streaming for an hour between projects at university and calling games and all of the incredibly childish drama that came between artificially created competitiveness, I'm glad I stuck with it, and I'm glad I went through it, because I think it made me much stronger as a person. But holy shit, am I glad where I am now? Comparatively, I'm glad where I ended up, and I'm happy.
Before we get into asking everybody questions, my sweet limes, is there anything more you want to add about your journey, or anything about, maybe even how it's been at Offkai for you, right? You had a meet and greet earlier. Now you're doing your panel. Is there anything else you'd like to do? Maybe an Offkai 2026? Wink, wink.
Honestly, the next thing I want to do, someone actually mentioned it in my meet and greet. I want to figure out how to do a concert. I've been drip feeding and
Let's go. Oh wait, I'm gonna. Yeah.
No, I've said it out loud now. People are gonna clip it and ship it. It's the same as the karaoke. I was like, I need to do karaoke. I kind of promised it, and then I got Invisalign, and I can't sing without lisping. So it's like I'm playing the long game. Karaoke has been set back a little bit because.
Wait, you don't have your retainer in now, do you?
No, I took it
Okay.
out for now because I was like, I can't do a panel and also be conscious about the fact that I'm gonna trip over my own aligners.
Well,
so
Okay, you
they're
could
out
take
right
them
this
out
moment.
for the concert.
True, I could take him out for the karaoke, but then I'd have to practice and things like that. Oh, no, you're putting me back on the hook. I was cleaning for you
I'm
for
not
a
letting
year.
you
What
off
are you
the
doing?
hook. I'm not letting you off the hook. Sorry, girl. All right, so a concert. She's manifesting. Wait, 1
Manifesting
second.
concert.
What are you guys yelling? Yell again. Yell more. I'm listening. Is it please, please, or bliss, bliss? Hold on. You need to all yell at the same time, okay? 3, 2, 1. What the hell is that?
They said lisp.
I thought they were saying please. They're saying lisp.
Yeah, it's me, Limealicious. You bastards.
Fun of you at your own panel.
I'm giving my time here at this goddamn panel, and this is the shit I get. Whatever. Roll the Q&A. I don't care anymore.
Oh, is there anybody here that also went to her meet and greet earlier? Yeah. That live cosplayer. They shibari'd a Momo.
Winter Limu.
The Momo enjoyed that. All right. I guess if you got nothing else that you want to say to your audience, we could progress to the funky part of it.
I would love to do questions. Please ask me things.
Before you
be
all
able to answer.
freak out and get up, wait, stay sitting. We'll let the nice technicians tell us what the heck we gotta do. Technicians? I think.
I don't know how it works.
Never mind. You guys
I'm
can
just guessing here.
Go up. Just
Do you
line
sprint
up.
up to the microphone?
I don't know where the microphone is. Don't run. Don't push. 30 minutes
Just
left.
a brawl erupts out.
Yeah,
the last
please
person
don't
standing
run.
asks
Don't push.
the question.
Don't yell. Battle Royale.
The prize is getting to ask things.
Oh no, that's the bad part about sitting at the front, right? You're like, oh, I gotta walk all the way to the mic. Just in case, if there's more than 30 people in line, probably don't line up, because even if it's like a person per question. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. Can you please zoom in the camera on the people asking? And we're gonna be close to the microphone, or it's really hard to hear you.
Yeah, that mic has a ton of fall off.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. What's
Okay.
up, young ocelot?
Yes, it
Please
is.
zoom in on that,
MGS
please.
Con 1. It's me again, Mata.
I still can't believe you didn't win. I yelled for you
Oh
so
my
much.
goodness.
Yeah,
That
it's
cosplay's
me.
gorgeous, though. You
Thank
look
you.
amazing.
Thank you.
I yelled for him so much, girl.
6 shots. Anyway. So, for both of you, of course, as an industry question. So, when was the exact moment? So, you're talking about how you were on livestream.com at the time, and then into COVID. You know, for you, for example, I'm first, and then Mata second. What was the exact epiphanal moment that forced you to say, hey, like you said, raising the roof of the bar, that really made you want to get into VTubing and then make that extra money? Like, what pinpoint moment jumped you into becoming a big name VTuber?
You want to go first, or shall I?
You can go first if you want.
Okay, mine's kind of depressing. Like, if I could name like one moment, it was when I was commuting through London, working 8 hours, commuting home, looking after my ferrets, and streaming. And I actually remember specifically, Twitch had just rolled out, and they walked this one back, because internally I had desperately fought it, but I was a tiny little ferret, and they rolled out mandatory ads for everybody that would bypass everything, and you would have no control over it. Mid-rolls specifically, not just the pre-rolls we get now, but mandatory mid-rolls forever, for all time. And internally I had been saying, this is a terrible idea, this won't work, you will be decimated. And they were like, no, we've risk assessed, it's totally fine. And they announced it, it was not totally fine. And I could not say anything about it because I was an employee of the company as well as a streamer. And I was getting, I was miserable internally and miserably externally because people were asking me questions and I couldn't talk about how I felt about it. And I'm exhausted because, but with the commute and everything, it's closer to 17 hours of stuff that I'm doing every day. And I was just like, something's got to give, and it's never going to be the stream. I'm never going to give up the stream. I've got to step up. I've got to start, really doing enough on stream that I can ditch this conflict, this emotional conflict that I have every time Twitch makes a stupid decision. So that was my moment. Yay!
I'll be quick with mine. So my moment for VTubing was definitely I had stopped streaming completely when COVID started because I was really, really sad and I had a hard time feeling happy. I know, right? And going online and being happy. And I even remember I was like, okay, that's it. Like, I'm a grown woman. I gotta go to work. I gotta go do stuff. I can't be a streamer. And then I actually was seeing clips of Kiryu Coco. So I had seen clips before of other HoloLive members translated, but now I was actually seeing clips of Kiryu Coco. And I was like, wait, what the hell? And it brought me so much joy. I remember every day I had a few clip channels that I followed, and I would just wait for them to translate other HoloLive talent into English. And I remember telling myself, I'm not a super religious person, but I remember being like, if I ever get out of this mood funk, of this like head funk, of this, low point, and I get to do this, I'll give it my everything. And so that was my moment. Great question, Young Ocelot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We love you, MGS God. I'm coming, baby.
Lon Mata, you two are pretty good. Mata, I'll see you at MGS Con 3. Loyalty to the con. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I'm really short. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Lives
Fine.
is short too.
You don't apologize around me. I'm 4'11". I know the struggle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love her, even though she's very short.
My name's Kitsura. I wanted to ask, because, and this is like a personal question for me, and Matara, you might have more experience with this. What would you say to someone who has done something in the past that they used to love, but they want to move in a new direction? Like it's no longer something that they feel creatively invested in anymore, and they just want to move forward.
Okay, I'll answer this. I think as a fan, you have to remember that it sucks. I'll do both fan and streamer. As a fan, you have to remember, yes, it sucks when your Oshi, your favorite band, you're no longer 14 and they're singing about teenage heartbreak. It sucks. And you wish that, Fall Out Boy only sang about teenage heartbreak, but they're 50 and that's not who they are now. You don't have to choose to love the new stuff as a fan. You can still look back at the old stuff and cherish it. Just because Linkin Park is 50 now doesn't mean that they didn't mean what they wrote when they were 14, As a creative, I think as a creator and a creative, the reason you have an audience and the reason people tune in is because you are able to show up every day and create something that comes from the heart. So in your case, if it no longer resonates with you, that's fine. And again, bringing it back to that example of when you're 14 and you're writing about heartbreak, that's authentic to you. But maybe when you're 35 with a family, you have a different authenticity to you, and it's okay. I know there's this guilt about it, but you just got to remember that for the fans, they'll find somebody else that authentically resonates at that moment. And for you as the creator, you got to do what's authentic with you at the moment. Limes?
Honestly, I think you said pretty much everything. Yeah, I think, sorry. Yeah, no, I think Matara pretty much nailed it. Like, I would say actually when I started VTubing, that was something that I was really afraid of because a lot of the people that watched me liked what I did because I didn't have a camera. I wasn't like other streamers. It was all very like informal. I was just a voice and they didn't have to worry about like anything else. And VTubing was terrifying for me for that because I was like, I'm gonna lose people. And I'm sure I did, and I know people have moved on. I don't see some people anymore, but they still have people that they enjoy. I brought in new people that I enjoy, and I'm doing like, what I love. I remember reassuring people, I was like, oh, I'll only bust out the model sometimes, when I'm chatting rather than gaming. No, from day one, I fell in love with the model, and it was every stream after that. And it's like, I had to do what I loved, and I feel guilty about it sometimes, but I think it was actually, it's better for everybody to just be true rather than burning yourself out doing something that you don't believe in.
Just remember, be a little bit more selfish. I know it hurts, but other people will also be more selfish when they pick the content that they love the most and stuff like that. So be a little bit more selfish, okay? You deserve it.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Selfish.
Hello, Gigi.
Hello.
Hey Matara, hey Lime. I couldn't really think of a question, so I'm just gonna drop like a really odd one.
Talk to me.
Have you heard about the critically acclaimed Maple story? And what
Maple
is
Story?
Maple Story?
We're going old school in the old
Oh
school
my
panel.
god. Hunting the hornies with your mage.
And
I played a little bit of Maple Story, but I was a Ragnarok Online girl.
Same.
I was Ragnarok Online. Yeah, thank you. Ragnarok Online, Mabinogi, Sword of the New World, Fly for Fun, all of those. I love them all.
Do you have like a favorite class?
In Ragnarok or Maple Story?
Maple Story.
You'll have to ask Matara. I didn't play enough.
Maple Story, I liked Cleric because I like being a support. Ragnarok Online, this is my thing. For player versus monster or hunting things for the guild, it was sniper. You walk around, you hunt a bunch of
Hell
stuff.
yeah.
Whitesmith for, what is it? War of Imperium. Whoa, I almost said Path of Exile Poe, but War of Imperium. And then for MVP, which is like hunting the big monsters, I just filled what we needed in the guild. So sometimes we needed a high priest, sometimes to like cast Pneuma and stuff, and sometimes you needed a champion. It depends. Allegedly, we may have accounts shared with the guild when it came to like the MVP stuff, because you just leveled up a really high level character and then people logged into it and then you just hunted the stuff. Allegedly.
Gravity Interactive, you didn't hear a goddamn thing.
Yeah. What about you? What was your favorite?
Actually, I first did Assassin, and I was like, I hate this. Then I did a Priest, I was like, meh. And then I found my love in Monk into Champion. I was a Dex Monk. I would go to the Sleepers map, and a Cult Impaction my heart out, and then if I could find, like, someone, like, to come to Turtle Island with me, I did Turtle Island, and then, yeah, no. Dex Guillotine Fist in PvP, like, I like getting the Insta-Fist.
Heck yeah. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good meeting you. Hello.
Hi.
I've got a Matara behind me and in front of me. This is very
Ooh, make a wish.
She's closing in. Run.
No, I actually met Bricky at PAX last year.
Ugh, I'm so
and-
sorry.
No, it was really cool. He
The
signed a-
counterpoint. Love Bricky. We love him.
No, he signed a Pokeball. It was very fun. And I was just wondering...
Who's we? Sorry, please continue.
No, I was wondering what your favorite thing that you have done in terms of like a collaboration with any people, any brands, any type of like corporation, if you've ever done like what's your favorite what's the word I'm looking for? Integration that you've done into your
I like it, a little
content.
corpo. Yeah.
Like what's the favorite integration you've ever done with your content, and favorite thing you've done in person?
I think I know your answer, Lime.
I don't know. I got a lot.
Monster Hunter?
Yeah, shut up. So my I have a lot of favorite developers, and I never thought as a child that I would be working with brands or developers that I have loved and idolized. And Capcom is a big one. Monster Hunter is a big one. I grew up playing Monster Hunter. Freedom Unite was my first one. My dad had a hacked PSP. Allegedly, and I played Monster Hunter Freedom Unite over, I think it was X-Link Kai to make it multiplayer, and that means a lot to me. The other one I would say would be, one of my first games ever was Harvest Moon Back to Nature for the PlayStation 1. And more recently I've gotten to hang out and work with Marvelous. And if I could tell little me that when she was desperately trying to romance Ellie and didn't realize that she needed a double bed before Ellie would say yes, and she was getting very, very upset. And Karen kept turning me down, that bitch. But if I could go back and tell her that, one day I'd be working formally with Marvelous, yeah, no, those big Capcom and Marvelous, like, crazy.
Yay! I think one of my craziest activations was probably the Nikkei one. I think being able to sing a song and have an outfit like an outfit after the character that they let us have was incredible. I never thought my voice was that amazing or I'd be a singer or anything, and just knowing that they loved it and the audience loved it. And I think at the beginning you kind of asked about like my favorite collab with people. Limes, I hate to say it, but one of my top moments of last year was that like accidental Gluptastic collab that we did, and it does actually involve Ricky and Kraken, where we were supposed to play like, what was it?
It was supposed to be like one map, and it ended up being the most involved, intricate thing in the world.
It was supposed to be a Left 4 no, not a Left. It was supposed to be the
It was Left 4 Dead. No, it was Left 4 Dead.
No, it was the other game that Zombies. It was supposed to be the Zombies, But then
Oh
like
no,
the
it was supposed to be called
server-
Zombies, but it broke. Yeah.
So instead we did the gluptastic thing and it was crazy. I loved it. Great question though. I like you doing the Corpa. Thank you.
Thank you
You're
very
so sweet.
much.
Bye bye, take care. Hello, Matara. Hello.
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 Nanami here, along with Matara, talking to, I guess, Matara.
Hello, hello, hello.
Which one's the real Matara?
Which
oh
one?
god.
So my question is, now, to preface this, you guys can't choose each other. I'm wondering if there were any VTuber in the world that you had to collab with for the rest of your life, you can only choose one, and every stream had to be a collab, who would you choose and why?
Shit.
I'm being put on the spot. This is being streamed, you know. My friends will find this.
If I had to pick one person to collab with forever.
Yes, forever.
That's not Limes, obviously, because that's too easy.
No, you guys can't choose each other. Yeah.
Okay.
Amelie.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a good choice.
Okay, can I do a top 3? Just because I feel bad.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Amelie. Bricky's gonna be 3rd, and then Min 2nd.
No.
I want to be nice. I want to be nice.
For me, this is purely. I'm gonna add so many disclaimers. This is not because you know I have favoritism in terms of how much I enjoy a particular person's company, but if I had to pick one person in the entire world that I could only collab with over and over again, it would have to be my friend Hackerling, because she's the sweetest, most wonderful, most supportive person, and no matter what I ask her to do, she'll probably be okay with doing it. And she always makes time for me, which is like so lacking in stress. And yeah, and the other week I had some issues with this game that I wasn't sure about. It was for a sponsor, and I was just like, Hackerling, will you come and just hang out with me? And she wasn't even getting paid, and she said yes, and she stayed with me for like 6 hours, just hanging out because she is full of love. So, Hackerling.
Let's go! Great question!
Thank you!
Thank you! You look great, Matara. Love you.
Hi.
Hello.
It's you with your
Yeah, it's
glorious
me
hair.
again.
I love your hair. I gotta tell you again, it's beautiful.
Your hair is amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
Curly girlies unite.
Okay. I do have a question.
Yeah, you gotta get in.
Sorry, I'm tall.
Kiss that microphone.
Okay. So I do have a question. I do casually stream sometimes, and I feel like by like hour 4, I am absolutely wiped. And I noticed that, at least for Limes, she streams for like 5 days a week for like 6 hours, like consistently. And I'm just wondering, like, how do you keep that energy up?
So for me, part of it is genuinely practice. Like, you know, like I said, I've been doing this since 2011. So you get very used to it. I will say I can't really do, like, I used to do 24-hour streams. Like, the word subathon used to mean, like, actually the whole, like, you went until you dropped and then that was the end of it kind of thing. It didn't used to be this thing where you, like, continued. Those are fine, but yeah, old school definition of subathon is literally marathon. Can't do those anymore. But yeah, no, for me, it's a combination of what I stream, I genuinely love. There are some games when I stream it, I finish streaming because I feel like I should, and then I'm like, I could open that game and play for another 4 hours. Genuinely, I could. So it's a combination of that, and then I would say like the other part is kind of like being relaxed about it. Like I don't find streaming like mentally taxing anymore because I'm just kind of hanging out. It's kind of like almost like a perspective thing where like I guess it ties into the fun thing where like for me the tiring part is like organizing, planning, admin, getting anxiety about panels at conventions. So yeah, for streaming is the part that I do to unwind, and if it's something that I'm super enjoying doing, like I could go for a very, very long time. So I would say if you're enjoying what you're doing, it's probably like just stamina that you need to build up, because you reach that point over a long period of time, like a long period of time.
I will add though, 4 hours is good enough. 4 hours is a
honestly,
great time to
4
stream.
hours is really not bad.
You don't
like,
need to be doing 8. If you're happy with 4, go do 4 hours several times a week. More than good enough. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Don't
One
try
of
to
the
do what
things
other
I've
people are
actually
doing.
seen-
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, one of the things I've actually seen is like just grinding like 15 hours on stream is probably one of the worst things you can do. So people who are doing those hours probably aren't doing it specifically to grow, or they don't know that, because people are just doing it for fun. So yeah, if you do 4 and that's good for you, fuck it, do 4.
Honestly, like, stop trying to do what other people are doing. Because somebody that can do 12 hours doesn't mean it has to fit under your life. If you can do 4 and then your voice gives out, do 4. That's awesome. Genuinely. Thanks for the question and good luck on your streaming. Love the bids. Come on, Lime. We gotta go fast. I want to get through some people. We gotta concise.
Hello.
Greetings, citizen, for liberty, for democracy, for super Earth.
Meanwhile, Mint is like the ultimate terrorist. What do you mean? Somebody goes, yeah. Okay, go on. I'm listening.
So my question boils down after COVID and stuff like that, you were trying to find how to start VTubing and stuff like that. So VTubing in general, when you first think of it, is more like Japanese eccentric, like idols and stuff like that. So the Western side of VTubing, like the very first earliest instance I could probably think of is probably Annoying Orange. Holy shit. So while you were trying to do your research on the VTubing stuff, how did you split between like the Western audience or trying to incorporate like Japanese subculture and stuff like that?
Okay, I can do this one, or do you want
you
I
can
suppose
go.
this is more relevant to me, yeah. So for me, actually, it felt like there wasn't a massive amount of information about VTubing, at least like, obviously if like you look up all the corpo stuff, it's actually all quite, hush hush and closed off because of like immersion and things. I just remember thinking like, I'm not too worried about trying to like be like, yeah, I'm gonna research all the corpo stuff and understand everything before I go in. I was literally just like, I wanted a representation of myself, and a friend of mine had a model from an artist called Akagi, who actually coincidentally does, I think, a lot of Shoujo key art stuff, which is kind of funny because my 1.0 now looks like that. But yeah, I applied for his stuff and I was like, yo, I'm a streamer. I have like, 400 to 600 viewers. I'd like to start VTubing. I don't really know much about VTubing. I know you do like the combo art and rigging, and I don't really know what I'm doing, so can I work with you? And he was like, yeah. And it was only after sort of like I got kind of hands-on with all the programs and stuff, and actually that's when I started learning more about VTubing. And in terms of like designing my VTuber, most of my inspirations were purely just sort of like cute things that I liked. I worked with my emote artist actually to make my VTuber, and I was fairly disconnected, like I said, from things corpo, which means when I started VTubing and people from the VTubing community began trickling into my streams, and I started hearing terms like graduate and Oshi and stuff, I had to go and figure out what those meant before someone figured out I was a horrible fraud. So I would say honestly, like I didn't do too much research into individuals or specifics of the culture. I genuinely was just like, I really want a visual representation of myself, and anime girls are cute. It's I'm very shallow.
Mine was a little bit different in the sense that I kind of got very lucky with my past work, that a lot of the corpo stuff I figured out the hard way or the easy way, being around other people doing corpo, you kind of learn a lot of it. That being said, your question was kind of long, and I'm a little bit still confused, but can you ask me again, like what exactly is, like what
yeah, maybe
answer
I
are you looking
misinterpreted.
for? Yeah,
No,
because I'm a little bit confused.
The streaming culture between like the Japanese audience is more focused towards like idols.
Yeah. Okay.
Idols, like
So
subculture and stuff like that, and then the Western
Japanese corpo is absolutely focused on that. Japanese corpo is absolutely focused on that. Even Japanese independent is kind of going away from it and just kind of moving towards regular streaming. If you even look at Japanese corpo people, they're doing like GTA V, all that stuff. I'd say when it comes to streaming, you should do what feels right for you. Personally, I like to still follow a lot of the stuff that I learned because that's how I got into the medium, but you don't have to. You're not a worse VTuber if you don't follow the immersion or you don't follow the idol stuff. You don't have to. You should just do what you think is best. But yeah, don't worry.
Yeah.
Like, I do think times are changing, genuinely. And especially the Western audience has grown a ton. And now there's a lot of people that are VTubers that never watched anime, aren't big anime fans. They just want to VTube because it's fun and they want to be anime girls. So it's
Why you
really
call
changing.
me out like that? What the fuck?
You're not the only one. There's a lot of folks, and that's okay.
I watched like 4 animes. I liked them. They were great.
Thank you for the question. I'm sorry
Thank
if we
you for the
didn't get to
question.
the point, but I
That's okay.
appreciate
Thank
you.
We love anime girls too.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We love anime girls.
We do love anime girls.
Hello.
Sorry.
Hi.
This working?
Yeah. What's up?
Okay. Sorry about that. Anyways, because I'm sure at least one or two of them are watching. Hey, Opes. Hey, Dip. I have one question from both of them.
What's up,
for
Dip?
Limes, and one question for both of you. That's quick.
Yep.
For Limes, has the growth of content creation and the loss of a more personal audience felt like a good or a bad thing on the whole?
Yeah, so there is absolutely this level, and I know you lose people here because they want that one-to-one. And it is totally true, like from the very start where people, like, you know, as Vine Sauce, we used to like hop on Trouble in Terrorist Town and play like that Gary's Mod game mode. When nobody was streaming, it was like more of a home. Like that, like you could hop on there anytime. And losing that was an unfortunate consequence of sort of like shaking off some of that toxicity. And then when I was a smaller streamer, I could absolutely dedicate more time to one-on-one questions with people. And it is unfortunate to lose that, but when you grow, you do kind of start getting a feel of like, people will be like, how can you keep track of the chat at that size? And I'll be like, you kind of respond to the vibe of the chat rather than trying to respond to every single message because you'll go mad the chat's going too quickly. You kind of pick up what chat is collectively talking about, and occasionally you'll you know, respond to individual comments or call Cammy a bitch. And just giving him shots in the middle of this freaking thing. Yeah, no, occasionally you single someone out, you have a nice like little back and forth with them. You can do community games, stuff like that. It is totally true that really tiny streams have an absolutely different vibe, but I think if you're careful about it and you make sure, you know, to keep things like a Discord and you do viewer games and things like that, you can keep some level of feeling like you're still relatively tight-knit.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Well
and
said.
the real quick one
What's the
for
question
both of
for
you.
both of us? Yeah.
If you play 4X games, what's your favorite?
Oh my god.
What game, sorry?
It's like, think of like Civ. Civ 5, it's like X, it's like exploit, expand, etc. My favorite Civ game of all time is Civilization Call to Power 2. It's not super famous. I also really like the Civ that they did in space, Beyond Earth. It's not the one that people really love because it was kind of like a bad Alpha Centauri clone, but I loved it. Also Civ 5, good mention. I haven't played 6. I can't get into it. Yep. I'm basic
It's
like
not
that.
good.
I know.
For me, I think mine's gonna be slightly off topic because I haven't played Civ, but I guess the closest thing to it would be something like, I like Age of Empires 1 and 2, again, Boomer.
It's an
And I
RTS,
like-
but it's still kind of like
Yeah.
you have to get resources. Yeah.
Yeah, Age of Empires 1 and 2, Against the Storm, They Are Billions.
That's a good one. I love Tab. I want to do the. I want to do the freaking. What is it called? I played it before they had the campaign. Oh. Have you played the campaign?
I love the super inappropriate hunter ladies who, like, when you're directing her around, she'll just go, "Last night was amazing." It's like, girl, we are hunting zombies. No, so
Again?
we're probably those, yeah, like Children of the Nile, stuff like that. Yeah, some of the older ones, I really like those.
Great question. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. Hello. Hi, I'm Pika Chica. Hi, Mata. Hi, Lime. How are y'all?
Hi, Pika.
Hi, doing great.
I'm glad to hear. I have a question. So, you guys are big VTubers now. Did you had any skills or kind of like skills-ish to go from like your old jobs that you were from like back when you started your first job that you applied to right now? Do you still do use those skills?
Are you using your degree in your job, Lime? Are you using your university degree?
My degree in game art and design, I use it every day. I make all these amazing thumbnails. I'm an artist. Graphic design is my passion. My first job was actually at a call center. It was tech support for a bank. And I think honestly, a lot of that phone manner probably helped because before that, I hated the sound of my voice. I really disliked talking like without being able to see someone. So I would say that helped massively. Working at Twitch obviously probably did a hell of a lot because I feel like I know all of the internal systems and how things generally work. I also did a lot of tech courses and stuff. I had an A+, N+, and MCDST, which are old tech qualifications because I used to work in tech. And all of those really help with setting up like my audio, my rigging setup. I love tech. I love tinkering. I love all the latest things. So I like playing VTuber tech support. Usually, like when my friends are there, I'm like, oh, you fix it by doing this and that. So I would say pretty much all of the stuff that I did before VTubing has kind of like, you know, customer service, phone calls, tech. It's all kind of like goes into this. So yeah, I would say it helps a lot. How about you, Mata?
I dropped out of high school and then I was a bartender and server for many, many years. So yeah, I think my skills absolutely transfer over. I have always been a yapper, a clown. I have always been somebody that talks a lot. I think my skills have transferred over. You just have to remember that even if you are shy and you don't talk a lot, your vibe is still a vibe on stream that people enjoy. Whatever you do on stream, whether you're shy, cool, whether you're extroverted, people will like that. You will find your like-minded people. But don't worry if your university degree does not transfer to streaming, you will develop new skills, I promise you. Seriously. Because I don't have a university degree and here I am.
Anybody can be a streamer, that's what you're saying.
That, I'm telling you, if I can do it, anyone can. I am the dumbest person I know and I make it work. You got this, Pika.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye. Oh, last question of the day. Hello.
Hello.
At what point in the streaming journey did offers for meet and greets and business events and such things started approaching you?
Can I answer this first and then you go?
Yes, you can.
So, I think there is a really big misconception when it comes to a lot of these opportunities where, yes, sometimes when you are at a certain level, conventions will come to you. They'll message, when I was in VShojo, conventions would message VShojo. But you are at a place where, I don't care if you have 50 viewers, 20 viewers, 30, 100, message the con, get in touch with the organizers, say, oh, I'd love to be a part of a meet and greet, I'd love to be a part of this. Maybe it won't be paid. By the way, just letting you know, if you got 20 viewers, it might not be paid. But you kind of have to put yourself out there and message people and put yourself on their radar. And then as you grow bigger and then as you get to know more audience, and you never know, a lot of the volunteers that work at one convention also work at another. They go around many cons. Kind of getting your name out there is really, really important. But that is one thing that people tend to forget, is that you often have to do a lot of the back end movement. Yeah. What about you, Limes? What do you got to say?
Yeah, I would agree entirely. I know, especially before I started like really doing them more seriously, there were a lot of content creators who were a fraction of my size making many times the amount that I was on sponsors and business opportunities. There were also streamers now that are still much smaller than me that have a much better con presence because they've been doing it for so long. I only really started doing it within the last couple of years, and that's because I very much kept to myself, just go live, play game, go offline. I didn't do any networking. The convention stuff really started ramping up for me this year because I got my wonderful manager, Zoe, who is fantastic.
Zoe!
And yeah, Zoe, woo! Yeah, she reached out and got me a lot of these opportunities, so it is absolutely about, like, I could have continued growing and getting bigger and bigger and never appeared at a con because Zoe did the proactive outreach rather than people coming to me. So absolutely, like, no matter what your size is, put yourself out there. I think it's way more important than waiting for things to come to you.
I agree. And you might not be able to get the paid opportunity this time if you have, let's say, 20, 10 viewers, etc. But next year, like, you gotta keep meeting people and putting your name out there. You got this. Thanks, everybody, for coming. And Limes, how was your first panel experience?
It was amazing. Thank you so much, everybody. I am overwhelmed and filled with love. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. I hope you had fun. I had an amazing time. Thank you. We love you guys.
Can I ask everybody to come a little closer? I want to take a photo of you all. Can I ask you all to make a little ball in the middle? But please be safe. No pushing. No kiss. Well, maybe kissing. No pushing, no kissing, no punching. Come into the middle and make a little big, like, middle seats next to where the microphone was. Yeah. Come here.
Cuddle, cuddle, cuddle. Oh my goodness. How many of you are there? Oh.
They're like little
The panel's over and I'm getting anxiety and butterflies. Oh, the super Earth flag flight.
Oh my
I'm
God,
filled
there's
with
so
democracy
many of
right
you.
now.
I love
Thank
it.
you so much,
You look
everybody. I'm
great.
taking screenshots.
Me too. I'm taking photos. I probably won't post this one. I just want to keep it for my memories. I have a little folder that I look at when I get sad.
When the brainworms hit.
Yeah. Oh my God, is that a Sans over there? Oh my God, I love it.
Thank you so much, everybody. You're all
You're so
amazing.
great.
Thank you. Much love to
Congrats,
all
Lime.
of you.
First panel. Next time she'll be a
First
pro.
panel. Woo! Yeah!
I hope you all have an amazing Offkai. Thanks for spending time with us, and we'll see you around.
Thank you,
okay?
everyone. See you soon.
One big cheer. Hags. Hags. Lisp.
No.